everyone. I'm Rebecca Swan, and as announced before, I'm going to talk about the C word. So I hope that gets you all a little nervous. Just a quick plug. I've got a show at White Space Gallery, which is in Ponsonby, just around the corner. That's on. I'm speaking on Saturday at 2 p.m. if anyone's interested enough in this work to come and hear me say more. Cancer. At 23, during my OE, I was diagnosed with lymph cancer. As you can see, it led to a range of hairstyles, and it didn't kill me. I knew it wouldn't, although I knew it could. This experience was formative, both for my art practice and my inquiry into what lies beyond the physical realm. Cathartic. I coped with this experience by taking self-portraits and a diary that was my therapy. I was doing it for myself. Then later, I chose to make some of the work public. I adopted this approach with the participants in Assume Nothing. They knew they could withdraw consent if they didn't want their image published. This created the richness in the work. Conviction. I approached over 100 publishers in New Zealand, Australia, Europe and America to publish Assume Nothing. They all said the same thing. It's beautiful work, but it's too niche to be commercially viable. So I self-published, which gave me the luxury of artistic control. Contradiction. This triptych of Emma could be read as a contradiction if gender is viewed from a binary paradigm. Assume Nothing presents other paradigms. Emma explains, I describe myself as ia, which in Te Reo Māori means both he and she. There weren't images that represented Emma's reality, so we created them. Custodian. Kirsty MacDonald asked me numerous times if she could make a documentary about Assume Nothing before I agreed. I was nervous handing over the relationships that I'd been nurturing over 8 years. However, she made a beautiful, respectful and profound film that continues to screen all over the world. Commission. In 2007, the New Dowse commissioned Assume Nothing, celebrating gender diversity, which was a combination of 23 of my images and Kirsty's films. Over 200,000 people saw it on its New Zealand tour of 5 public galleries and museums. Community. The Human Rights Commission became partners in the exhibition. They ran 3 workshops in every gallery it toured to. This generated a sense of ownership from the local community. In Hamilton, 2 trans women in their 70s sat in the gallery for 2 hours every Sunday throughout the 3 months of the exhibition there. Connections. At one workshop, a mum and her son raced in late and introduced themselves. They were feeling so isolated in their journey of the son's transition as they knew no one else like him. At the workshop, they met other trans guys for the first time, and instantly they had the support of a community. Calling. Assume Nothing was produced at considerable cost, financial, emotional and time, 15 years and counting. However, I never wavered from it. It was my calling. Later this year, the book will be launched in New York and the exhibition will tour Spain. Celebrate. Fabricated Truths is the narrative of a love story, what it means to reveal the essence of oneself to another, the passion of discovery, the tenderness of vulnerability, the minutiae of domesticity, the peace of trust, and the transcendence of the physical. Construct. Back in the 80s, I made bad Fimo brooches that my long-suffering mother would get as gifts every birthday. I developed these skills to construct these characters and sets convincingly. I loved making things again, and this marked a shift in my practice to mixed media and photography. Collapse. I'd kept the figures unfired for the series so that I could manipulate them. I shot this image last, as I suspected immersing the figures in water might cause their demise. Limbs started dropping off, so quickly I patched them up and immortalised them. 10 minutes at 180 degrees. Cake. Here's proof that we do this for real. In a nice play of life imitating art, imitating life, the figures ended up as a cake decoration at our civil union last year. One of the kids at the ceremony had no qualms licking the chocolate off the figures. Cross-pollination. I've just integrated my art and commercial work on my website. I had been keeping them separate, thinking one industry would frown on the other. However, there is a wonderful cross-pollination that happens. I attract commercial work that is meaningful, and I'm constantly upskilling, which feeds into my art practice. Catalyst. My series Dying to Know is a revisiting of my experience with cancer nearly 20 years ago. For me, having a life-threatening illness wasn't morbid, it was liberating and a strong catalyst to investigate some big questions. Why are we here? What is beyond the world we see? How are we connected? What happens to our souls? Cosmic. My spiritual beliefs have always been in the background of my art practice. This is the first time I'm addressing them directly. I had some fear that I'd lose any credibility that I may have had as a serious artiste, and the work would be read as too woo-woo. However, the images kept coming to me, so I chose to trust that. Creativity. I love the creative process, and for me it's most powerful when I get myself out of the way, my fears, my ego, my tendency to analyse all life out of an idea. I learnt to trust that inspiration would be right under my nose if I paid attention, gratefully accepted it, and worked hard to execute it to the best of my ability. Creative entrepreneur. I've recently been asked to speak as a creative entrepreneur. I don't know what that means, but I am excited about our capacity to harness creativity in all aspects of our lives. If we start by creating ourselves through our thoughts and intentions, the possibilities are endless. Commitment. Sustaining my art practice takes commitment. Although I've been exhibiting and publishing internationally for over 20 years now, 2008 was the only year I made a profit out of my artwork. So clearly I'm not in it for the money. I think, as many of you will know, we'll be miserable gits if we didn't do it. Critical mass. The creative path has its challenges and its riches. Wonderful events like Pecha, Kucha, the Auckland Festival of Photography, the dealer and public galleries showcasing photography, encourage us to celebrate and share ideas. The more we nurture and encourage creativity, the better future we're likely to create.